Paris, the city of dreams, but also of endless lines and lost tourists without proper planning. Many people arrive without a strategic itinerary and end up wasting time, money, and, worse, missing out on truly memorable experiences. This travel guide solves that. Here, you'll discover exactly what to do in Paris in 1 to 7 days, without missing the best spots and must-see attractions. If you want to explore Paris like a true expert, without hassles and with unforgettable moments, keep reading. Let's begin. Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is the ultimate postcard of Paris, but it wasn't always loved. When it was inaugurated in 1889, many Parisians hated it. Today, it's impossible to imagine the city without it. To avoid lines, the best time to visit is early morning. But if you're after a visual spectacle, go at sunset and watch Paris light up. And a special detail: every night, the tower sparkles for 5 minutes on the hour until 1 a.m. A free show you can't miss. Before heading up, though, admire it from one of the city's best viewpoints. Champs-Élysées Park. The Champs-Élysées is one of the best spots to admire the Eiffel Tower at leisure. The vast lawn is perfect for a picnic with baguettes, cheese, and wine, a classic Parisian ritual. At night, this area transforms into one of the best places to watch the tower's light show, away from the crowds. A perfect moment to soak in the magic of Paris before heading to one of the city's most iconic addresses. Champs-Élysées. The Avenue de Champs-Élysées is synonymous with elegance. More than a shopping street, it's a showcase of Parisian spirit. Walking here, stopping at a cafe, and people watching is almost a ritual. Along the avenue, luxury brands share space with cinemas and restaurants. But the highlight is at its end, a monument that carries the weight of French history. Arc de Triomphe. The Arc de Triomphe, commissioned by Napoleon, is a tribute to French soldiers. But beyond its grandeur, few know you can climb to the top. From there, Paris unfolds in a spectacular panoramic view, with its avenues radiating like sunbeams. A perfect photo op, and an invitation to see the city from an even more special angle, from the river that runs through it. Seine River Cruise. At night, Paris shines in a unique way, and a Seine River cruise is the best way to witness it. On board, the city glides smoothly before your eyes. Notre-Dame, the Louvre, and, of course, the Eiffel Tower, all illuminated. Whether it's a dinner cruise or a simple tour, this is an experience that reveals the true essence of the City of Light. And tomorrow, the journey continues through a more medieval and literary Paris. Notre-Dame Cathedral. Notre-Dame Cathedral is one of Paris's greatest symbols and a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. Since the 12th century, this imposing structure has witnessed coronations, revolutions, and the whispers of time echoing in its stone walls. Its gargoyles, watching the city from above, fuel legends and spark the imagination of passers-by. But the real spectacle is inside. The colorful stained glass windows filter light like divine brushstrokes, creating a magical atmosphere. For those who love panoramic views, climbing its towers is a must. The effort is rewarded with one of the most beautiful perspectives of Paris. And if the stained glass here impresses, wait until you see the next hidden gem. Sainte-Chapelle. Sainte-Chapelle is a true medieval treasure. Hidden within the Palace of Justice, its upper chapel feels like a sanctuary of light. Nearly all its walls are made of giant stained glass windows, illustrating biblical scenes with intricate details. If the sun is shining, the effect is breathtaking. The light transforms the space into a living kaleidoscope. For those seeking a unique visual experience, few places in the world can rival this chapel. And after this spectacle of colors, the next stop is a dive into the intellectual and bohemian heart of Paris. Latin Quarter. The Latin Quarter has been the neighborhood of students, artists, and intellectuals since the Middle Ages. It's where names like Hemingway, Sartre, and Simone de Beauvoir created and debated ideas. Its narrow streets hide historic cafes, charming bistros, and legendary bookstores. A must-visit is Shakespeare & Company, an iconic bookstore that once sheltered writers and keeps Parisian literary tradition alive. A little further, the aromas of bistros invite you to pause. A typical lunch here is always a delightful experience. But if you're looking to relax outdoors, there's a green refuge just ahead. Luxembourg Gardens. The Luxembourg Gardens are a Parisian oasis, a place where French royalty left its touch of sophistication. Inspired by Italian gardens, its symmetrical paths, classical statues, and the famous Medici fountain make it one of the city's most pleasant spaces. Sitting in one of the iron chairs to observe Parisian life is a simple but genuine pleasure. Children sail boats in the large pond, couples stroll carefree, and readers lose themselves in books, surrounded by the garden's tranquility. But for those who still want a bit more art before ending the day, there's one last must-see stop: Musée Rodin. The Musée Rodin is one of those places few tourists explore, but leaves a deep mark on those who visit. Dedicated to the work of Auguste Rodin, it houses some of the world's most famous sculptures, like the Thinker, the Kiss, and the Gates of Hell. The museum's garden is its standout feature, a tranquil space where sculptures blend with nature, creating an almost poetic atmosphere. Walking among these masterpieces is a contemplative experience, perfect for ending a day immersed in history and art. But Paris still has much more to offer, and tomorrow, the journey will take you to the world's most famous museum. And for those who want everything planned out, without wasting time or falling into tourist traps, I've left a complete Paris itinerary in the description link. In it, you'll find a detailed step-by-step for each day, with tips on timing, best routes, and must-see places. Oh, and if you want to secure your tickets and tours in advance, no lines, no stress. I've also left the links there. That way, you only need to focus on enjoying Paris to the fullest. Check it out. Louvre Museum. Visiting the Louvre is diving into millennia of history and art. With over 35,000 works on display, it's impossible to see everything in one day. But with a good plan, you can enjoy the best of the museum without getting lost in its endless corridors. The first tip is to enter through the Carrousel du Louvre, a less crowded underground entrance compared to the famous glass pyramid. Once inside, prioritize the highlights: the enigmatic Mona Lisa, the imposing Venus de Milo, the magnificent winged Victory of Samothrace, and of course, the grand paintings by Delacroix and Jacques-Louis David. But the Louvre isn't just about the famous masterpieces. Exploring its less crowded wings can reveal surprising treasures, like Napoleon III's apartments or the Egyptian collection. When your mind starts begging for a break, there's a perfect spot right next door: Tuileries Garden. Leaving the Louvre, the Tuileries Garden offers a tranquil refuge before continuing to explore Paris. Created in the 16th century, it's one of the city's most elegant parks, with paths perfect for strolling and chairs strategically placed around fountains and sculptures. Sitting here for a few minutes, observing Parisian life, and perhaps grabbing a coffee at one of the kiosks is almost a ritual after an artistic immersion at the Louvre. But the day isn't over yet. Tomorrow, the journey will take you to the Paris of opulence and imposing architecture. Palais Garnier. If there's one place that represents the grandeur of Parisian architecture, it's the Palais Garnier. More than an opera house, it's a spectacle in itself. Its interior is an explosion of marble, gold, and chandeliers reminiscent of a royal palace. The main hall, with its ceiling painted by Marc Chagall and the giant crystal chandelier, is the highlight. And for fans of mystery, this is where the legend of the Phantom of the Opera was born. Just step into its shadowy corridors to understand why this story fascinates to this day. After so much luxury, how about some shopping and a surprising panoramic view? Galeries Lafayette. Galeries Lafayette isn't just a department store, it's a tourist destination in itself. The Art Nouveau glass ceiling is an attraction on its own, but the real secret lies on the rooftop, one of the best free viewpoints in Paris. From here, you can see the Eiffel Tower, the Paris Opera, and the city's classic rooftops. It's worth going up even if just to admire the view. And just a few steps away, a place filled with military history and one of the world's most famous tombs awaits you. Les Invalides. The Hôtel des Invalides was built to house wounded soldiers, but today it's home to one of Europe's most impressive military museums. Its standout feature, however, is the tomb of Napoleon Bonaparte, located under the majestic golden dome that stands out in the Parisian skyline. Entering the mausoleum, the grandeur of the space is palpable, an imposing tribute to one of history's most remarkable leaders. For history enthusiasts, this visit is a must. But if art is still calling, one of Paris's most enchanting museums awaits at the next stop: Musée d'Orsay. The Musée d'Orsay is a paradise for art lovers. Housed in a former train station, it showcases masterpieces of Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. Here, you can see iconic works by Monet, Van Gogh, Renoir, and Degas, among other masters. Beyond the paintings, the museum's architecture is fascinating. Its giant clock is one of Paris's most photogenic spots. And with every step inside the Orsay, it's clear why the city has been and continues to be a muse for artists worldwide. But tomorrow, it's time to explore the bohemian and vibrant Paris of Montmartre. Montmartre and Sacré-Cœur. Montmartre is a neighborhood that breathes art, history, and rebellion. In the past, it was the refuge of painters like Picasso, Toulouse-Lautrec, and Van Gogh, who sought inspiration in its charming alleys and affordable cafes. Today, it still maintains its artistic essence, with street painters and musicians scattered around every corner. The highlight, literally, is the Sacré-Cœur Basilica, perched atop the hill. Its white dome is a landmark in the Parisian skyline and offers one of the best panoramic views of the city. Climbing its steps can be tiring, but the reward is worth every step. And nearby, a museum reveals fascinating secrets about the artists who brought this neighborhood to life. Musée de Montmartre. Few tourists know about the Musée de Montmartre, but those who enter this enchanting house discover one of the neighborhood's most authentic spots. The museum tells the story of the artists who passed through Montmartre and houses original works that capture the area's essence. Beyond the collection, the museum's garden is a tranquil retreat where time seems to have stood still. From here, the feeling of being in the Paris of 19th-century artists is almost palpable. But the true explosion of color and sparkle in Montmartre happens at night, at one of the world's most famous cabarets, Moulin Rouge. No other cabaret in the world carries as much charm and history as the Moulin Rouge. Since 1889, this iconic haven of French cancan has dazzled audiences with its vibrant shows and extravagant costumes. Tickets aren't cheap, but the experience is unique. Talented dancers, grand sets, and a touch of luxury that transports the audience to the Belle Époque. For those who want to feel the glamour of a true Parisian spectacle, this is a must-visit. But the night isn't over yet. There's much more to discover in the area's alternative bars and clubs. Pigalle nightlife. If the Moulin Rouge is pure elegance, Pigalle is where Paris shows its edgier, more alternative side. The neighborhood is home to everything from sophisticated bars to underground clubs, creating a fascinating contrast with its historical atmosphere. Those who enjoy refined cocktails can explore hidden bars in discreet alleys, while those who prefer a more relaxed vibe will find pubs with live music and contagious energy. For those who want to dance until morning, some of the city's best nightclubs are also here. But after an intense night, nothing beats a more relaxed day exploring Paris's lesser-known artistic and architectural treasures. Petit Palais. Not everyone knows, but Paris has high-quality free museums, and the Petit Palais is one of them. Tucked among the city's grand monuments, this palace houses a rich collection of paintings, sculptures, and tapestries, as well as temporary exhibitions. The building's architecture, with its golden dome and marble staircases, is a spectacle in itself. But the real charm lies in its inner garden, a tranquil oasis amidst Parisian hustle, perfect for a break before exploring an even grander structure. Grand Palais. The Grand Palais, with its massive glass dome, is one of Paris's most imposing buildings. Built for the 1900 World's Fair, it now hosts some of the city's most prestigious cultural events and exhibitions. The structure is impressive, and its combination of iron and glass creates an almost futuristic atmosphere within a historical monument. Depending on the time of year, you might catch major art exhibitions, book fairs, or even sporting events. But the next stop is one of Paris's most photogenic settings, Pont Alexander III. The Pont Alexander III isn't just a bridge, it's a work of art over the Seine River. Its golden lampposts, detailed sculptures, and stunning views make it one of the city's most photogenic spots. Walking here at sunset is a true spectacle, with the sun reflecting on the Seine's waters and the Eiffel Tower rising in the background. The romantic atmosphere makes it a must-visit on any travel itinerary. But the walk continues to a historic square filled with symbolism. Place de la Concorde. The Place de la Concorde has been the stage for major moments in French history, including the execution of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette during the French Revolution. Today, it's one of Paris's most elegant squares, with a giant Egyptian obelisk at its center and monumental fountains completing the scene. On one side, you see the Champs-Élysées. On the other, the Tuileries Garden and the Louvre. It's the kind of place that connects different eras of the city and invites further exploration. But the next day will be dedicated to one of France's greatest treasures, the Palace of Versailles. Palace of Versailles. If there's one place that defines the opulence of French monarchy, it's the Palace of Versailles. Built to be the residence of Louis XIV, the Sun King, Versailles isn't just a palace. It's a symbol of absolute power. The absolute highlight is the Hall of Mirrors, where dozens of chandeliers and giant mirrors reflect natural light in a dazzling display. It was in this hall that historic treaties were signed, and walking through it feels like stepping into living history. But the splendor of Versailles doesn't end in its gilded rooms. The Gardens of Versailles, nature on a monumental scale. The Gardens of Versailles are a spectacle in themselves. Designed by landscape architect André Lenotre, these symmetrical gardens stretch for miles, adorned with statues, fountains, and artificial lakes. On weekends, a special fountain show adds even more magic to the place. For those who want to explore the palace at a leisurely pace, renting a bike or an electric cart is a great option. But to end the day and the trip on a memorable note, there's one last special moment waiting by the Seine. Seine River Picnic. Few things are as Parisian as a picnic by the Seine River. After a week of exploring the city, it's time to slow down, open a bottle of French wine, and enjoy the view. A perfect spot for this is the Isle de la Cité or the steps near the Pont des Arts, where Parisians and tourists gather at sunset. The setting is straight out of a movie. Golden light reflecting on the river, a gentle breeze, and the feeling that Paris always leaves you wanting more. Now that you have the perfect Paris itinerary in hand, there's only one thing left to do. Put it into practice. What's the point of dreaming about the city, researching every detail, and then leaving this incredible experience for later? The question is, when will you live all of this? Paris isn't just a destination. It's an experience that can transform your perspective on art, history, and culture. And the best part? With this travel guide, you already know exactly what to do without wasting time or money. So tell me, which of these experiences do you want to live the most? Sunset at the Eiffel Tower? A cafe on the Champs-Élysées? Or maybe a Seine River cruise? Leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel for more epic travel tips. And Paris isn't just beauty. Every place has a fascinating story behind it. If you want to understand the secrets, curiosities, and events that shape the 20 main points of this itinerary, I've made a special video telling everything in detail. It's on the screen and in the description. It's worth watching before your trip. That way, every monument, museum, and street in Paris takes on new meaning. And remember, Paris always has something new to surprise you.